12 years ago today, 276 Chibok schoolgirls were kidnapped by the jihadist militant group Boko Haram. While many were released and some escaped, dozens are still missing. Others were forced into marriage. The abduction sparked a global campaign under the banner Bring Back Our Girls, but even now kidnappings are frequent in Nigeria, as DW's West Africa correspondent reports.
These images of the Chibok girls 12 years ago shocked the world. Hawa, Ruth's daughter, was among the 276 students abducted by terrorist group Boko Haram. Like Hawa, more than 80 of them are still missing.
Since Boko Haram took my daughter, I haven't heard any news about her. Life has been miserable for me and my family. I'm just crying and begging the world to please help rescue not only her, but the other girls too.
Hawa was 17 years old when she was kidnapped. Today, she would be 29. The grief of his daughter's abduction made Ruth's husband fall ill, and he never recovered. He died a few years ago, leaving Ruth to care for their other 9 children.
Although we heard some died, I believe my daughter is still alive, and I pray she will return soon.
But life has not been easy for some of those that have returned. Mariam, who was 14 years old when she was taken, regained freedom a decade ago. She had a son with a jihadist fighter while in captivity. Because of her child, her family has not fully accepted her since she came back.
I love him, and then no matter how I found the boy, I will still be happy because he came out from my womb. I thought, okay, they will be happy to see me and welcome me then. Nothing like that. If people like outside your family can do that, you will not mind, but people that give birth to you, you will feel bad.
The abductions led to the global social media campaign Bring Back Our Girls, calling for their rescue. Former U.S. First Lady joined the call.
Jihadist group Boko Haram gained international notoriety after the Chibok incident, and there has been a surge in mass abductions since then. Splinter factions and other armed criminal groups now operate across the northern region, worsening insecurity in the country and making some citizens to lose confidence in the government.
We feel badly, particularly as a member of Bring Back Our Girls, where we stood firmly that if those girls were not brought back to us or to their family members, we will not disperse. If government will abide by what they say, by now, all the adoption or kidnapping across the country would not have happened.
After such a long wait, they say that all that is left is prayer for the remaining Chibok girls, now women still missing.
I feel bad about what happened. I can only be patient and continue to pray.
I pray that if they came out, they should show them love, not to hate them because of what happened to them, because it's not their fault.
The families and loved ones fear that the government may never be able to find them, but bigger concern is that after such a long time, they may never want to return.
And Issa Sanusi is country director for Amnesty International in Nigeria, who told me that the abduction of the Chibok girls, what it means for the victims, the families, and for Nigeria as a whole.
Well, the case of Chibok girls has become a defining moment, and it has shown to us that Nigerian government is not doing better when it comes to protecting children, when it comes to protecting schools. It was so unfortunate that after Chibok girls, we have series of school abductions where girls and boys were abducted. And even last year it happened, and even this year it happened. And it means that we have not learned any lesson from what happened with the Chibok girls 12 years ago.
What have the Nigerian government's and the security forces' efforts been over the past 12 years to get these girls back?
Well, there were a lot of concerns about the failure to get these girls out. Unfortunately, there was no transparent accountability about getting those girls reunited with their families. A large number of them have been reunited with their families. A number of them have not been found, and a number of them no information about them. So it's really unfortunate. And we are really concerned that the Chibok girl incident continues to be a defining moment about the failure of Nigerian authorities to address the ongoing security challenges facing the country that have been going on for many years now.
Can you give us a sense about, because some of the girls have made it back, and we saw a couple of the cases in the piece that preceded our discussion. What is the resettling process like for girls who have been returned? What resources are available to them and their families? Because, we saw this one case earlier of a family who would not accept, their daughter because she had a child in captivity.
Well, Nigerian government has not made any plan for them. We have always said that as Amnesty International that these girls must be provided with psychosocial care. They have to be provided with a comprehensive health check. They have to be provided with psychological support. And they have to be also be put through a trauma management process that would have been useful in making sure that they return back to normal life. Unfortunately, that has not been done. And there was no any protocol for returning them back to their families. And that is why you even have that case where a family rejected their daughter because they came back with a child. There are families that accepted those children and their daughter back, and they are finding it difficult to adjust to life with children gotten from that disgusting and terrible situation. So it was so unfortunate that the support that we have been asking the government many times to provide has not been provided.
Are there any organizations that are filling that gap, though? Because, if the government is failing on one side, are you able to support them in another way? For example, through efforts from Amnesty or related organizations like yours?
Well, we do help with this kind of things, but the issue with Chibok girls is an international issue, and the Nigerian government has a plan for them, like educating them, like giving them support to restart life. So it is the duty of Nigerian government to do that. There might be some organization helping, but I don't think that enough has been done. I believe that the whole responsibility lies on the shoulder of Nigerian government, not organizations or voluntary services.
The Chibok girls case has, of course, gotten a lot of global attention, but kidnapping is a wider issue in Nigeria. Give us a sense of the scale of the problem.
Well, abduction is still going on. It is going on in large scale. And even this week, we released a report which shows that from January to April, about 1,100 people have been abducted across Nigeria. That is in 3 months. So abduction continues to be a big threat to right to life, a big threat to human rights, a big threat to the ability of the people to go about their lives without fear. We believe that in Nigeria now, we have what we call the crisis of abduction for ransom, and some people are even abducted and killed in custody. So it's a crisis that Nigerian government must confront, and they must confront it head on to make sure that it is addressed effectively.
And it's not just Boko Haram, committing these kidnappings. There are, other different perpetrators, but when we look at the group Boko Haram itself, which perpetrated the Chibok kidnapping, how strong is this group right now in Nigeria?
Well, Boko Haram is gradually resurging, is gradually recovering, and they have been launching deadly attacks across Borno State and Yobe. And the gain that was made in pushing them back is now being gradually lost. And we also know that it's not only Boko Haram that carry out abduction. They do abduct people, especially they target girls. and young men. And there are many, many other armed groups across Nigeria that have turned abduction into a lucrative business. And this is really a big problem. People are selling off the entire thing they own, their entire assets, to pay for ransom for their dear ones that were abducted. And these abductors have been making millions, hundreds of millions of naira every day. And unfortunately, there was no way of stopping them.
Isa Sanusi, thank you so much joining us from Amnesty International. We appreciate your insight.